everyone. Today we are with our patient who finished his lengthening process with lawn method. And now I'm going to ask him some questions. Hello.
Hello.
Okay, so how are you right now?
Pretty good. I'm excited. I'm excited to go.
So your process is now complete.
Yes.
And may I ask how many centimeters did you gain so far?
9.2 centimeters.
9.2.
So I reached my goal.
Yes, that's
Yes.
great. How did the process go for you overall?
I think it was all right. I think I was luckier or had a better time than most people who reach my goal. You know, I think from what I saw, or at least what I observed and what I've heard from other patients and stuff like that, I think I had it much better than most. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, let's go to the background of this. How did you decide to undergo this height lengthening surgery? And if you could go back to the beginning, like, would you have made a different decision, or like, are you like 100% sure that you would do the same?
Yeah, so since I was maybe like 5 years old, I always felt like something was wrong. I grew up, since I could remember, always like smaller than people that I knew, like who were always, growing and stuff like that. And even in, like, as I kept getting older, it started affecting my mental health more, especially when I was a teenager. And of course, there was like teasing and bullying and stuff like that. But even just like regular by myself in my own house, it was making me really sad. And so 5 years ago, when I was 16, my mother, I guess she saw that it was like affecting me, and I guess she got like curious about like, oh, what could he do maybe in the future? And she found that this surgery existed. And when I found out it existed, I kind of looked very into it. I didn't know about this company at the time. I just knew that it was something that existed and something that I would like to do as early as possible. And so when I finished high school, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna work really hard. I'm gonna save up as much money as possible. And my parents knew, and in the beginning they were a little like, scared and worried, but my mother was more accepting. And then it took a while, but my father was definitely like, yes, for sure. But it wasn't until like as the years went by and I started saving up more and more money from working, and where it started to become like in the last year, and then 2 years ago we found out about Want to Be Taller. So at that point, my money that I was saving was getting very close, and my parents were starting to save as well. And so from like 2023 and the beginning of 2024, it became very obvious, okay, I can do this the end of 2024. And yeah, definitely I would do this because this was something that I felt like I definitely needed, which I could talk about more in the later question. But I definitely wasn't afraid of doing this ever, even though all the videos I watched and all the stuff I saw and all the stuff about complications and stuff, there were a lot of reasons to be afraid, but I was never afraid because I was more scared of living a life where I didn't do this. So I could never imagine a life where I didn't do it. So I would, of course, it was gonna, my mom would used to say to my father, like, if we don't help him now, he's gonna do it when he's 30, so, might as well.
Exactly.
I felt like I lost my young years being very sad.
Might as well support him.
Exactly.
You can, yeah.
Yeah.
So everything is worth all the pain and the long process.
I think when I go home, I'll notice it for sure. Yeah. And I start hanging out with friends again, and I go to my college in person in the fall, and and I start riding the subway, and hopefully feeling more comfortable. Exactly. Yeah.
So another question is, what do you think about our team, like medical team, doctor, overall?
Yeah, the team's really good. I think the number one best thing is everyone's patience. Because the patients, I think we can definitely be very needy, or everyone's in different levels of pain, and I think all the staff, they have a level of understanding and patience that really works. So I think that's the number one thing. The doctor, he is great, but for me, he didn't really have to do much. Like every single time he saw me, he was like, "Yeah, you're strong," So I was like, but it seemed very much like everyone knew what they were doing. And I think that was the most important part.
So pretty strong. Like nothing ever happened in your process. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, so now that you like have your new heights, you're a new person, are there things that you plan for your new future? Like, is there anything that you planned before getting the surgery? Like, I'm gonna do this when I'm taller. I'm gonna do that when I'm taller, etc.
Yeah, when I get back, the first thing is recovery. And as soon as I can at least walk pretty fine, I want to get back to working with like doing my work that I do. It's only a little bit physical. All I have to do is be able to walk and sit. So that's the work that I want to be able to do. And then after that, get back into being able to exercise, doing weightlifting. I can at least do my upper body in the beginning, but as the months go by, I want to be able to slowly get back into gaining my weight back. And then after a year, I want to get back into running, like sprinting, maybe do like a marathon. And then when I'm really like healed, I want to be able to do martial arts. So just stuff like that. Like I want to be able to keep up my movement because I know now that my bones, like are in a new position, so it would be really smart to stay active and healthy for like the rest of my life and have like a good diet and stuff like that. I've always been about exercise and like being active anyways. But now that, I've done this, I think now I have no choice but to be as healthy and strong so that when I'm like 70 years old, I can still be like jogging and stuff like that. And I'll still have healthy, strong bones is the most important part. Yeah.
Great, amazing. And lastly, what would you like to say to those who are considering this surgery but are afraid of it, who cannot decide but they feel like they really need the surgery? What would you like to advise to them?
Yeah, if you want to do the surgery, you have to really need it. Like not just want it, it's not like any cute or any other plastic surgery. It's not like doing your hair or doing your nose or any part of your face or maybe even like a simple fixing finger surgery where you sleep, you wake up and it's over and then like maybe in a few weeks, boom, you're good and you can go back to it. It's 3 months of basically you doing it to yourself. I feel like the doctors only do so little compared to how much you actually have to do to yourself with the key every day and well, for me, I did 5 turns a day. So almost every 5 hours, you have to make the decision, like, like it's very mental. And especially if you're very far away from your country, for me, it was actually harder. The harder part was being far away from home. And especially if you go away during the holidays, at a certain point, especially being in a hotel by yourself, you start to feel like maybe you're going crazy a little bit. But you have to, for me, I never had I remember in the beginning they used to say like, oh, you're going to have moments where you're like, why did I do this? But I never thought that in my head. I never regretted anything because I knew that if I quit early and then I went home early and then the pain was over and I was back home, that I would realize that, oh, I was going to be back home anyways, but I would regret it if I did not reach my goal. So it has to be something that you're really like, that you really want and maybe in a way that you see no other option. And only then, can you actually have the mental strength, which is more important, I think. I mean, also preparation, stretch, like maybe for like a year. That's another thing. For me, I was stretching for a very long time, for like 2 years, but not very seriously because I was also still working out. But 4 months before the surgery, I stopped working out my legs and I was just only stretching. But not just like being able to touch your toes. You should also like be able to grab the bottom of your feet and stay there for like 2 minutes because that was like the point. Yeah, exactly. You have to like, not just to get flexible, but to also like be able to feel the stretching and just stay there because that's basically what it feels like when they say like the pain, other than nerve pain. But, just be ready for anything. And when anything happens, if you feel like you want to quit, just think in your head, like try to remember, why you paid all the money in the first place and also came all the way in the first place. But most importantly, think about all the things in your life that, made you decide like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. Because it's not like it's not right away. It's a very long process and you're mostly doing it to yourself. So it's all in your mental strength and in your decision to be able to reach your goal. It's all on you.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much. And congratulations on your new height.
Thank you.
I must say. Okay, see you
later. See you.
Bye.